Hello guys, this is Vineet from Edgeforex and today is the 26th of July 2025. Actually, I had to check. Uh, so I want to start off with a little analogy about wolves. Wolves are often seen as symbols of patience and strategy in their approach to hunting, a trait or a habit that ties into saying about sheep getting slaughtered and wolves survive. The patience is a calculated survival mechanism rooted in their biology and pack dynamics, and is powerful metaphor for strategic timings in various contexts. In the wild, they exhibit remarkable patience while stalking the prey. They don't rush in, instead, they observe, assess, and wait for the right moment. A wolf pack may track a herd like a deer or elk for hours, days, or even weeks. And then they conserve their energy for the attack at the right time. Now, why do I bring this up? Is the reason is metaphorically the wolf's patient resonates in context like a saying in finance, we're savvy investors, they wait for market dips or overhyped stocks or crash before striking, avoiding the impulse moves of sheep who follow the trends blindly. I hope you are getting my drift. In life, it's about biding your time, whether in negotiations, career moves, personal conflicts, striking only when the odds are in your favor. Wait, wait, wait. You can be wrong 90% of the time, and I have been wrong 90% of the time while sitting out or even with a small position for a very long time. But when I'm right 10% of the time, I not only cover all the losses from that 90% of the time, I make 10 times more. Why? So it's that's the moment we are in right now. If we look at the dollar, and when I said if you're getting my drift, that's where I was trying to take this conversation. The dollar has been in the slide since earlier this year, beginning of the year, and it's lost what 11-12% of its value as the reserve currency. And I've spoken at length about it, so I don't want to repeat myself, and I want to bring something home and analyze these charts, but in a little bit of a different perspective. Guys, always remember, markets will create as low amount or as little number of winners as possible. Right now, the world's most overcrowded trade is shorting the dollar, is selling the dollar. And it has been for the last 6 months. So that's where all the sheep is. All the investors, everybody, all the retail guys. I say, please catch my phrase. All the retail guys, all the little investors, even some hedge funds are heavily short the US dollar. And remember what happens when everybody is on one side of the boat flips. And it doesn't care what the fundamentals are. I don't care what the fundamentals are of the US dollar. I don't care what the technicals are for the US dollar. We look at them. But there are certain amount of rules that are not followed when there are extremes in the marketplace. Extreme sentiments have taken over the rational mind, because nobody right now is thinking rationally. Everybody is saying the dollar is doomed. Trump is an asshole. Yes, I agree. Trump is an asshole. Yes, dollar is doomed in the long term, but in the short term, it is oversold to an extent. The sentiment is so negative. It cannot get any more negative. That's how bad it has gotten. So what happens? And usually the wolves come out. Wolves come out and take the opposite trade, and they go aggressive. And that usually triggers a squeeze. And that is where I believe we are in midst of. I would say within, if I were to put a date on it, I would say right around 1st of August, things are going to come to a head. And then either the US dollar tests its recent low, creates a double bottom, or maybe before that it has a bounce. But that bounce is going to be violent, is all I'm saying. Because when wolves attack, they are vicious. Because they are a pack. They have been waiting for days, in this case months, for this tide to turn. And they are hungry, and they are not going to be relentless. So if you are short the dollar, I recommend lighten your positions. If you have no positions in the dollar, I recommend start taking small positions or every pullback on the dollar, because you want to ride this wave, because we are going to ride this wave all the way. So that said, let's look at the chart closely and see where things are at. So let's look at Dixie, DXY, which is the dollar index. Okay, guys. So it started this downtrend early this year around February, and we've looked at this chart so many times before. And the last time we looked at it, it had broken out. And then I said, okay, I am going to stick my neck out and say the bottom is in. That was this bottom right here at around 96.3 or 96.4. And from there on, it, yes, took a dive, did not test the bottom or anything. Now, the trend line that was acting as a resistance so many times, it's now acting as a support. So it got down to the trend line and then bounced back. Now, I also now drawn the 50-day moving average. So that's a very good, along with the trend line, I really like the 50-day moving average line to see a simple moving average, nothing, no exponential, no smooth, no nothing. 50-day moving average, simple moving average. That now is also an indicator that you can use to see if the trend is long or short. So in this case, every time it's touched that moving average, it has bounced down. It said bounced back, or not bounced back, but it retraced. So now this moving average is acting like a resistance. So now the moving average is sitting right at 98.5, thereabouts. Yeah, so it's coming actually lower. So every day it's not breaching the average, it's coming lower and lower. So once it breaches that moving average, it is then going to confirm that, yes, the trend line is broken, the moving average is broken. Now the skies are clear. That's when the wolves are going to come in and take this thing high, and it's going to be violent. And that is where that's a trade you want to catch. You'd rather be early on that trade, have tight stop losses, and then ride high with those trades. So now we're looking at Dixie, DXY. But Dixie is made up, is in the composite that made up of different currency pairs, mainly being EUR USD, then GBP USD, CAD, USD CAD, and JPY USD, USD JPY. So let's here look at some of those individual ones and see what they are doing. So if we look at GBP USD, okay, guys, now here, if you look, GBP USD, there's the trend line. It broke the trend line, came back and tested it, and boom, down again. Okay, let me zoom in and you can see that. And here, there's a 50-day moving average. It's broken that 50-day moving average. So we already have a signal on GBP USD. All right, guys, now things get interesting. Here, we're looking at USD JPY. Here, the trend line is broken, tested, bounced back. Here is the 50-day moving average. So trend line's broken, 50-day moving average is broken. That's two in a row. Let's look at USD CAD. In USD CAD, it's sitting right at the trend line, the moving average, and the trend line is a few pips away. So tested the trend line, it broke the moving average, tested the trend line, it retraced just a few pips just before the close. So that is going to break both together if and when it does. So now, here comes the interesting one. EUR USD. That's the lone wolf, guys, that is keeping the Dixie low, because all the other three have either confirmed or are very, very close to confirm the reversal. So the lone wolf is EUR USD, because that has the biggest portion or the biggest weight in the dollar index, which is around 56, 57%. So yeah, this particular pair, it tested the trend line, broke the trend line. So it tested it a few times, kind of held as a resistance. Now it broke the trend line, went up again, tested it, came down just a little bit. So it needs to keep the price or movement below this particular trend line and below this recent top. It can make a double top. I said That's my other extreme case scenario. Before I get proven wrong, it's going to break a double top, or it's going to go further down from here. So as long as it goes down here and we have a confirmation below this 50-day moving average, then everything is lined up. Wolves are ready to attack, and they can attack after that at any moment. And that's when you want to get in. You want to slowly get in at every 30, 40, 50 pips. Keep adding to your positions. Keep adding to your positions, because this is going to be a game changer. And I've been saying that for a while now, because I am a wolf. I am waiting. My mentality is like a wolf mentality, not sheep. I used to be a sheep for a long time, but once I did my research, once I got burnt a few times and went back into reading, learning, and following the guys who actually make money on a consistent basis, they're in the market for a very short time. In that very short time, they make a lot of money. And that's when I actually figured out you have to change the way you think. Become a wolf. Become a wolf and eat the sheep, not the other way around. Don't become the food for the wolf. So once you change your mentality, you will start thinking differently. And that applies to your life in general. Always strike when the odds are in your favor. Always think that, okay, before taking any decision, what are my odds? Okay, once your odds are in your favor, that's when you want to strike. It can be your career move, it can be your moves in your studies, it can be moves in your personal relationships. Make sure the odds are in your favor. Be the wolf. Do not be the sheep. That is one thing. If you think like that, it's going to benefit you a lot. The way you treat life, the way you treat day-to-day things in your life. It is going to make your trading better. It is going to make your life better. It's going to make your relationships better. Telling you guys, it's helped me a lot, this kind of thinking. Okay, what are my odds? A lot of times in my life, people have done me wrong. My instinct tells me, hey, strike them back. No. Best thing is to walk away 99% of the time. Because striking back, I'm losing energy. I am wasting my energy. And if I really have to, certain times you have to strike back, then you have to become the wolf. Strike when odds are in your favor. Anyways, I'm kind of going on a tangent here. So I think that's it for today. And I just wanted to keep you guys posted, because last couple of times I did my live, I was talking about more different things and not really, getting into the charts and whatnot. But now I just wanted to share with you guys what I'm looking at and what you should be looking at also. And then on Monday, I am going to do a little deeper dive into this, a little more on a philosophical level. Why do trends change? What is a herd mentality? How to spot a herd mentality? And the philosophy is trend and trading, but more philosophical level, more theory, and not looking at charts. We will look at a chart or two. I don't know. I haven't thought it through yet. I'm going to work on it over the weekend and on Monday, and it should be a good one. I'm actually looking forward to it. So that said, guys, have a great weekend. Had loads of good times with your family. Guys, always remember, family is always first. Take care of your family. Take care of your health. Money, all these things are secondary. So that said, guys, I will talk to you on Monday. Till then, have a great weekend. I'll see you then. Bye.